we know this is controversial, but this is why Fletcher dating a man matters.
So, who is Fletcher? If you don't know who Fletcher is, she is a singer, and she came out with a couple of really famous, very popular songs. And I'm not sure if they're popular in normal cis het culture, but in queer culture and especially like lesbian culture, she it's a pretty popular song. It was actually her first song that I remember. It's called "Girls, Girls, Girls." It's based on Katy Perry's "I Kissed a Girl," that song, and from everything that I knew about her was that she was a very proud lesbian woman.
She was a gay icon.
Very much a gay icon in amongst women. Actually, she even performed at the Dinah Shore, which is a big women's festival in Palm Springs the year before I went there. And I remember thinking how I had been kind of sad that I had missed it because, she was, very, very well known at that point. So she is kind of built her following a lot kind of based on the notion that she is this lesbian woman, right? And all of her songs, like Becky's Hot, and were very much about
Undrunk, yeah.
But very much about her being a woman who is attracted to women. So she just came out, I guess, a couple of days ago. I'm not even sure when it was, with very interestingly timed news that she has been dating a man for a year and just coming out with this information now
during Pride Month.
And
is also releasing a single or an album, but the single is called Boy.
Yeah, and so just a lot of very interesting, coincidentally timed interviews and so on and so forth. And she just did an interview on the Made It Out podcast, I guess, and you really gravitated to one specific thing that she said, and something that I think really raised the ire of a lot of queer women.
She basically talked about how her queerness was an era of her life.
Another way of saying that is a phase. It was just a phase, which is so funny because in one of her songs, she actually says, "Oh, it's not a phase."
100%.
So now going and pretty much doing the exact opposite of that, and now dating a man. I literally don't care who she dates.
Her sexuality doesn't matter. That is not what this is about.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, I don't care if she's bi or pan or straight or gay. Obviously she's not gay, but but point being that her sexuality and who she dates is utterly irrelevant to me. But how she represented herself feels very much like a misrepresentation of who she claimed to be for a decade while she was making money off of a queer fan base that was under the impression that she was, in fact, a lesbian, and where all of her songs were talking about those experiences and those relationships. So it just leaves a sour taste in my mouth, and her music now no longer hits the same way. It's just, I don't care about her sexuality. I find that the timing of this, and not that she's dating a man, but she waited a whole year and then decided in the moment that she was going to release an album that this was the time to do so. And going on a queer podcast talking about how she's actually a straight girl is mind-bogglingly manipulative.
And sure, it is one thing. So here's how it's different. It's like in her story, it seems as though she was queer from the get-go, Whereas usually, it's like you are straight from the get-go, then sure, there might be a phase. And then you go back to straight or whatever it looks like, right? Or you're straight from the get-go and then you're gay for the rest of your life. But the issue is the fact that, not that, again, like Victoria said, that she is straight now or whatever she identifies as, but it's the fact that she created such a following of pretty much lesbian women, made lots of money off of the lesbian women, and now her entire fan base, I'm sure there are people that are exempt from this, but a large part of her fan base have been alienated because how many of them have looked up to her and related to her and, wished to be like her and seen her as an idol and an icon and spent money on her?
Yeah, like I can't speak to her experiences because obviously I'm trans, and so I didn't have that experience growing up, but you very much did. And like you, not to say that you grew up as like, a pretty girl, and although you had dated men at the beginning of, your life and stuff, because that was what was normal and stuff, even though your sexuality, but at some point, this is kind of the opposite side of that.
Yeah.
She seems to have claimed to have been gay and only dated gay, like be a lesbian, and some of the things that she talked about her relationships with women were that she was at peace and she was
and she liked the softness.
She loved the softness and all of that stuff. But I think inherently she must have known that she was sexually attracted to men.
Because of how society makes you see the world.
Exactly.
You're not raised, no matter where in this world you are raised, and she was raised in North America, you are not raised to believe at the beginning that you're gay.
That's right.
It just doesn't happen.
So she must have known that she was
at least bi,
being insincere in the fact that she was actually attracted to men, even if she's bi or pan or whatever it is that she is. But she misrepresented herself in a way that I feel is insincere and is self-serving.
Yeah.
And the release of the album called Boy and going on queer podcasts and the timing of it all just feels so planned. And
it's disappointing.
And it's just disappointing. And I, as somebody who I looked up to her in that way, I was like, wow, like that's so cool. Here's this
queer women making it in the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
And sure enough,
and now it doesn't.
And now we feel kind of like used in a way.
Definitely. It just it doesn't feel right. And I can't help it. I guess my autism and my sense of justice feels.
Yeah. I compute.
I feel like inherently that it was a calculated behavior that was done so to
get famous
initially, and to use that, and it just...
And at the end of the day, like the queer community is only so big, right? So you can only necessarily, if you're seen as a queer icon, you can only also be so big.
You can only get so big.
So, but in the, cis het world, you can get huge. You can
Taylor Swift,
right?
Exactly. But you could be the richest person in the world.
Exactly.
By catering to a cis het society, which is, the norm, whatever, or at least the majority.
Yeah.
And anyways, I just now I've just kind of come to this place of I'm wishing her well. I'm happy for her to be whoever the hell she wants to be, and release whatever music she wants, and to live her life, and to be happy, and to do whatever it is that she, but calling being gay a phase and
it's disappointing,
and feeling like it was used to benefit herself financially and make herself famous and all of that stuff. I just can't help but feel disappointed.
So if you have an opinion on this, we'd love to hear it in the comments.
Anyways, I hope that she is happy, and I wish her all the best, but I will definitely not be listening to that music anymore.
Sad but true.
Too bad.
Let us know what you think.